He'll cry, then beg, then sign whatever I want. Silence. Then laughter. The kind that echoes and slices like broken glass in a quiet room. Another voice joined in, higher-pitched, smug. You're evil, girl. What are you gonna wear when you break him? Pause. A rustle of paper. Pages? Probably the navy dress. He always says I look soft in it. Pathetic. She didn't know I was behind the door. Or maybe she forgot. Or maybe she just didn't care anymore. I stood there, frozen, holding a coffee mug that said, "World's okayest husband." Bought it as a joke. She never laughed at it. Through the thin wooden frame of the office door, I listened as my wife practiced her speech, her divorce speech, with her friend. Printed pages, multiple drafts, revisions, bullet points. My name, apparently, was a project now. I'll start with the whole, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you" garbage. Classic opener. Then go into personal growth. That usually hits. She was reading it like a script. Tessa, her best friend, no, co-conspirator, giggled like they were in high school again. Girl, he's gonna crumble. You're gonna walk out with everything but his spine. They thought it was funny. I stared down at the mug. The coffee had gone cold. She flipped another page. Then I'll say, "You've always been good to me, Doyle, but I need to be good to myself now." Think he'll cry there? Or do I save the tears for the dog? I swear, Tessa said, if he gives you the house and the car, you better take me on a cruise. She laughed again. Deal. I backed away from the door like it was alive, like it might open and swallow me whole. She was still talking when I stepped outside, still laughing when I sat in my car, still plotting when I pulled up Google and typed, "How fast can I file for divorce in Ohio?" The irony? That navy dress she mentioned? I bought it. With my bonus. She said she felt forgettable lately, so I took her shopping. I just wanted her to smile again. Turns out she already was. Just not at me. I didn't sleep that night. Not in the poetic, metaphorical sense. I mean, I literally lay on the couch, fully clothed, just staring at the blank TV screen while the clock glowed 2:37, then 3:49, then 5:12. The sun came up like it always does, heartless and on schedule, and she woke up like nothing happened. She kissed my forehead, told me I looked tired, then asked if I remembered to buy oat milk. I said I forgot. She rolled her eyes. The thing is, I didn't cry. Not then. I didn't scream, didn't punch a wall, didn't storm in and call her out. I wish I had. But all I did was go through the motions like a mannequin on autopilot. I fed the dog, folded the laundry, watered her stupid plant that only blooms if you talk to it. She never talks to it, by the way. That's just me. I don't even know why. But inside me, something had shifted. By noon, I had made an appointment with a lawyer whose office looked like a dentist's waiting room. Fake plants, soft jazz, receptionist named Bev. She didn't even blink when I said I needed to file for divorce. Just asked for ID, date of marriage, if there were any kids, there aren't, and whether we own property. When I said, yeah, a house, 2 cars, joint checking, and a dog, she nodded and handed me a clipboard. Then came the question I wasn't ready for. Do you suspect infidelity? I paused. No. I mean, I don't know. And I didn't. She wasn't sleeping with anyone, as far as I knew. But was that really the bar now? Was the betrayal only real if someone else had physically touched her? What about plotting my emotional demolition like a PowerPoint presentation? What about laughing about it with someone who used to be in our wedding group chat? I signed the paperwork with a shaky hand. Filing fee was $245. I've spent more on her birthday brunch. Bev asked if I wanted the papers served at home or elsewhere. I said her office. She blinked. That's not common. I shrugged. Neither is practicing your divorce speech while your husband's making you dinner. She didn't ask any more questions after that. When I got home, she was on the phone with her boss, talking about her company's big quarterly potluck. She was excited. Said everyone was finally going to meet her husband. Yeah, they would. Not in the way she planned. And not with pasta salad. The morning of her office potluck, she wore that navy dress. The one she said she'd deliver the "I'm choosing me" speech in. The irony nearly made me choke on my cereal. She came out of the bathroom in full makeup, hair curled, perfume a little too loud for 10 a.m. Bear followed her around the apartment like he always did, his tail wagging stupidly, unaware that she'd already claimed him in the mock court of her imagination. She looked radiant, dangerously so, and gave me a crooked little smile like we were still a team. like I wasn't counting down minutes in my head. She asked if I'd be okay getting there a bit late, said she wanted to get things set up before introducing me to her coworkers. I told her I'd stop by after lunch. Don't be too late, she warned. They've heard so much about you. I nodded and even kissed her cheek. I must have looked so convincing. Inside, I was buzzing like a phone on silent. By the time I arrived at the office building, the parking lot was half full. Folding tables had been dragged outside under cheap party tents, each holding Costco salads, crock pots, labeled casseroles. Her company logo was printed on balloons, and a Bluetooth speaker played early 2000s hits too loud for anyone over 30 to enjoy. She was standing in a group by the entrance, laughing with one hand on someone's arm, performing. Always performing. I didn't go to her. I went to the man leaning against a Civic 2 spaces down. Mid-40s. Tan windbreaker. Clipboard. Badge hanging from his belt. His name was Alan. Process server. Nice guy. Told me this was actually his 4th potluck this year. Apparently, workplaces were the new divorce battleground. I walk over. I call her name. I say you've been served. I hand her the envelope. She signs nothing. Just takes it. You good with that? I nodded. Do it when she's smiling. He grinned. Cold. I watched from a safe distance, heart thudding. She was mid-laugh when he called her name. Mrs. Carrington? Her head tilted like she was expecting a delivery. The second he handed her the envelope, her smile died. Not faded, died. Like someone flipped a switch and the power went out in her face. She looked up, scanned the crowd. And then she saw me. I didn't wave. I didn't blink. Just stood there, like a monument to all the years I pretended not to notice the slow decay. She clutched the envelope like it might explode, turned away quickly, said something to the group, and disappeared inside. I didn't follow. I got back in my car, turned on the AC even though it wasn't hot, and just sat in the cold, artificial breeze. Alan came back a minute later and gave me a thumbs up. She didn't scream, he said. That's rare. I wanted to laugh, but all I could do was stare straight ahead. Yeah, I muttered. She's had practice. That night was quiet. Too quiet. Not in the horror movie sense. Just unnatural. She didn't come home. No text. No call. No sarcastic, thanks for the show. Just silence. I fed Bear, who kept staring at the front door like she might walk in at any second. I almost told him she wouldn't. But I couldn't do that to him. Not yet. I sat at the table and stared at the half-dead plant between us. The one she said needed gentle affirmation to thrive. I wanted to scream at it. Instead, I scrolled through our text history and reread the last 3 years of my life in green and gray bubbles. So many you okay? And don't wait up. And can you grab oat milk? The last message from her was 4 days ago. A photo of a dress she didn't end up buying. The caption said, "You think this is too much for the office?" I'd replied, "Nope. You look incredible." She'd never answered. At 10:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. No name. Just 5 words. You're seriously going through with it? No punctuation. No emotion. Just a cold punch of accusation wrapped in a question. Like I was the one who betrayed her. I stared at the screen for a long time. Typed. Deleted. Typed again. Finally, I sent. Did you ever love me at all? No answer. I didn't expect one. And yet, when none came, it still felt like a fresh slap to the face. At 1:12 a.m., another message. Same number. You humiliated me at work. In front of everyone. I laughed. Actually laughed. Loud, bitter, too late kind of laugh. Like the kind you let out after being the butt of a joke for way too long. I replied, "You humiliated me in our house." I just returned the favor. No response. Again, that one must have hit. Around 2 a.m., I got up and opened the hallway closet. Pulled out the photo albums. Yeah, the real ones. Not the cloud storage kind. The dusty, bent corner, 99-cent drugstore kind. I flipped through our engagement pictures. Her smile was always perfect. Mine looked tired, even back then. Like I knew something was off and couldn't quite name it. My friend said I was lucky. Her friend said she was trading down. I remember brushing that off at the time. Said love wasn't a trade. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe for her, it always was. Around 3 a.m., I went outside barefoot and threw the plant off the balcony. It didn't land with a crash. Just a soft thud. Like the ending it deserved. It was Saturday, around 6:30 in the evening. The kind of early evening where the sun makes everything look too honest. Every scratch on the wall, every stain on the deck, every mistake you've been trying not to admit to yourself. I was on the porch drinking warm beer straight from the bottle because I didn't feel like pretending I deserved anything better. Bear was curled up by my feet, chewing the same toy he always goes to when things feel off. Dogs know. They always know. Then I saw her, walking up the street like a scene from a dream you didn't ask to have. Hair pulled back, no jacket, and that navy dress, like a twisted little joke from the universe itself. The same one she said she'd wear when she gave her "I'm choosing me" speech. It looked even more ridiculous now, out of context. Like a costume without the play. She slowed when she got to the bottom of the steps. Didn't speak right away. Just stared at me like I was the one who owed her something. I didn't stand up. Didn't invite her in. I just took another sip of the beer and waited for the performance to start. "Can we talk?" she asked, voice low. Not soft. Just contained. Like she was trying not to say the wrong thing too early. "You practicing again?" I asked. "Or is this the real speech?" She flinched at that. Just slightly. Then came the sigh. The one she always used when she was trying to flip the guilt. "Doyle, come on. You really think that's fair? I think you rehearsed your divorce like it was a TED Talk. I think you laughed while planning how to gut me. So, yeah, I think Fair left the building a long time ago." She climbed one step. Then another. "You blindsided me." I almost dropped the bottle. "I blindsided you? You mean when I served you papers after you wrote a script about how I'd hand over everything like a spineless idiot? That's what caught you off guard?" She didn't respond to that. Just looked past me, toward the front door. "I didn't think you'd actually do it." I laughed, ugly and sharp. "You always thought I wouldn't do anything, didn't you? That I'd just cry and beg and give you the house and the car and the dog, because you had a few tears queued up and a speech about how you were finding yourself." I stood now, slow and calm, not because I wasn't angry, but because anger had already done its damage and left. "Well, surprise. I never wanted it to be like this," she said, voice cracking for the first time. "You weren't supposed to find out." "And yet," I said, stepping past her and opening the screen door, "I did." She looked at Bear, who hadn't moved from his spot. She gave a half smile and whispered, "He still loves me." "Dogs are loyal," I said, "even when they shouldn't be." And then I shut the door. Not slammed. Just closed it. Quiet, final, deliberate. I watched through the peephole as she stood there for another 30 seconds, frozen, clutching her phone like it might give her new lines. Then she turned and walked back the way she came. That night, I turned off my phone, unplugged the Wi-Fi, lit a candle, and sat in the dark with the dog and my own damn silence. It was the first peace I'd had in years. It came in at 2:14 a.m. No subject line. Just a blank ping in my inbox from an address I didn't recognize at first. I almost deleted it, figured it was spam, or worse, one of those desperate phishing scams that preys on people too tired to care. But something about the name caught my eye. Tessa Hartman, the co-author of my slow-motion public execution. Her name looked strange in the from line, like it didn't belong next to mine. Like two characters from different books mashed together by mistake. The email started with, "I shouldn't be doing this." Already a hell of a beginning. But I was there when she planned it. All of it. I thought it was funny at first, I really did. I thought it was just her venting. You know how she is, always dramatic. She called it the performance of a lifetime. We drank wine. She read me the speech. I laughed. My throat tightened as I scrolled. I should have stopped reading. But I didn't. I didn't know you were listening that night. I didn't know you'd heard all of it. But when she came into work looking like someone punched her soul out of her body, I put it together. And now I can't sleep. She went on to describe the timeline. The nights they rehearsed. The backup plan if I got angry. The attorney she was going to use. The one her co-worker's cousin had on retainer. Even the private storage unit she'd rented 2 weeks before serving me her fake truth. She was already moving things out behind my back. She had a list. A spreadsheet. Tessa attached it. It was titled, Freedom Budget, Q4. You think you're prepared for betrayal. But reading your own name next to things like, give him the Keurig if he cries, and remember to fake sincerity, does something to you. Something chemical. I felt my face flush. My vision blur. I thought people exaggerated that part. Rage blurring your eyes. But they don't. Not at all. Tessa ended the email with a line that made my skin crawl. I don't think she ever loved you. But I think you did. And that sucks. No apology. No request for forgiveness. Just the facts, dropped like bricks in my lap. I didn't reply. I didn't forward it to my lawyer. I didn't even screenshot it. I just read it 3 times, closed the laptop, and sat in the silence like it owed me something. Later that morning, I printed the list. Not for court, not for revenge, just so I could hold it in my hands and remember that none of it was in my head. That she really was building her exit while I was planning our anniversary. She had a column titled Narrative Control. She was never planning to leave quietly. So now, neither was I. I brought the printed spreadsheet with me to her parents' house. No warning, no text, no dramatic build-up. Just a man in a hoodie with circles under his eyes and a folded piece of paper that made liars sweat. Her dad opened the door, confused. Her mom was already halfway down the hall, smiling like I was the golden boy come back to finally propose. She didn't know yet that I'd already been married to their daughter, that I was already on my way out of that mistake. They had no idea what she'd become. Or maybe they did and just called it ambition. Can we talk? I asked, voice dry. Just a few minutes. Her dad glanced at my hands. I was holding the paper too tightly, the folds already softening from the grip. He stepped aside without a word. Her mom made tea. I didn't drink it. I placed the spreadsheet on their dining room table like it was a cursed object and slid it toward them. They leaned in, reading in silence. I watched every twitch, every flicker of confusion that twisted into something uglier. Her mom went pale. Her dad clenched his jaw so tight I thought I heard it click. When her mom finally spoke, it was barely above a whisper. She sent this to her friend? She made it, I said. Tessa just helped. There was another silence. Thicker this time. Like the air itself was ashamed. She told us you were getting cold, her dad finally muttered. That you weren't trying anymore. I nodded slowly, biting back the laugh clawing its way up my throat. She ever tell you I was the one who planned her last 3 birthdays? That I wrote her a handwritten letter every Sunday for a year after her promotion? That I sold my old guitar to buy her that damn navy dress? Her mom was crying now. Quiet, guilty tears. Her dad still hadn't looked up. You showed up here, he said finally, because you wanted us to know. Yeah, I replied. Because I know she'll lie. She'll come here with her mascara running and a story about how I humiliated her. She'll twist it so hard you won't know what side is up. And I didn't want to convince you with words. I tapped the spreadsheet. This is all her. You decide what it means. I left before they said anything else. I didn't need apologies. I didn't want validation. I just wanted to rip off the mask she wore so tightly. Even her family couldn't see where it ended and her real face began. An hour later, she called me. Voicemail, of course. You went to my parents? Seriously, Doyle? That's your move now? Dragging everyone into this like some sad martyr? I told you this could have been clean. She didn't yell. She didn't scream. That's what made it worse. Her voice was surgical. You better believe I'm going to fix this. I control the story. You had your little moment. Now it's mine. She still thought this was about control. But what she didn't understand, what she'd never understand, is that the moment you treat someone's love like leverage, they stop playing your game. And I wasn't playing anymore. I didn't answer her call, or the next one, or the email that followed, which was full of fake apologies, vague blame shifting, and a carefully worded request to meet and talk like adults. That last part made me laugh. Talk like adults? She'd spent months preparing a breakup like it was a theater production, mocking me to her best friend, then getting mad when the audience didn't clap on cue. I didn't write back. I didn't need to. That week, my lawyer called to say she'd hired counsel and was demanding mediation. She wanted the car, the house, and partial custody of Bear. That last one stung more than anything. She didn't even like dogs. She only posted pictures of him when she wanted sympathy likes. But I'd done my homework. The spreadsheet, the emails, the recorded calls, everything was lined up and documented. My lawyer said, if she wants a war, she picked the wrong general. I don't know if that made me feel better, but it made me feel seen. She tried to spin her story. She posted cryptic quotes on Instagram. She fed half-truths to mutual friends. Claimed I'd become emotionally unavailable and self-absorbed. Said she never meant for things to get ugly. That was her favorite line. I never meant for this to happen. Like betrayal just happens to people. Like she slipped and fell into months of deception and carefully rehearsed speeches. But the truth has a way of dripping through the cracks. People started pulling away from her. Quietly. Some unfollowed. Some just stopped answering. One of her co-workers reached out and said, I used to admire her. Now I just feel sorry. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. We finalized the divorce and mediation. She didn't fight for Bear. Maybe because her lawyer told her the evidence was airtight. Maybe because deep down, even she knew he didn't deserve to be used like that. I walked out of that office with the clothes on my back, the dog at my side, and something I hadn't had in years, silence that didn't feel like punishment. And the funny thing? Life got lighter. I moved into a smaller place. Nothing fancy, just clean walls and sunlight that didn't feel like it was lying to me. I started cooking again. Not for anyone else, just for me. Real meals. With garlic bread that never ended up in the trash. I took Bear on long walks without checking my phone. I started sleeping through the night. Sometimes I even laughed. Not the bitter kind. The real kind. I still have that spreadsheet. Not out of spite. Not to relive the pain. Just as a reminder of what it looks like when someone plays games with love, and how close I came to believing I deserved it. The last time I saw her, she was at a grocery store, alone, fumbling with a self-checkout machine and pretending not to notice me. I didn't say anything. Didn't need to. I had nothing left to prove. Because I didn't lose her. She lost me. And I finally understood the difference.